Hi everyone! I am back today with a process video. Let me show you what I printed out for kind of an inspiration. It's not a page or a layout done by anybody, but it's a home decor piece that I had seen on Pinterest, and I didn't print it out in color, but the color really didn't honestly matter to me. But I really liked the idea of doing a whole bunch of, what are these called? I can't remember what these things are called. They're not pinwheels. They're, yeah, I don't know what they are, but they're that like folded piece of paper and then made into a circle. I'm drawing a blank. Sorry. But anyways, what I had wanted to do was do something similar to this, but in the shape of a number 2 for my son's second birthday from last year that I never got around to scrapping. And then I'd put some notes down here on the sides as, you know, wood grain background with circle pictures from his two-year photo shoot. And then, let's see. Oh, they're called rosettes. How funny is that I actually wrote that in the notes. So different size colorful rosettes using an 8x8 paper pad. However, I pulled a 6x6 and then in the shape of a number 2. So I wrote this earlier this year, so that's why I was drawing a blank. So I pulled out a piece of pattern paper from Crepe Paper from their DIY shop, and this is the other side to that, but I'm gonna go ahead and use the wood grain paper, and I'm probably gonna use it like this. And then the 6x6 paper pad I pulled out was this is this crepe paper? Yeah, it is crepe paper, but it's the Little Boy Blue stack. So I am probably going to use just the solid pattern papers instead of like the one with the animals on it. This one has ducks, and I think there's lambs and all that stuff on this one. But I was just going to kind of use papers like that, and plus the red, and then the green. So that is what I'm going with. And then the pictures are going to be, I think this is a 2-inch punch or 2 1/4, not quite sure. But I'm using this one by EK Success, and I had already printed out my photos in 3x3. And then some embellishments I pulled out. I wanted to use one of these clear stickers here for the month, and then I just pulled out these stickers from my Project Life stack just because they're circular. And then I wanted to use this one right here. It says favorite. Oops. Yeah, I went through a couple stickers, and this one says cute, and I think that will match the green in the paper pad. And then a couple of these wood grain butterflies from Studio Calico. And then the stamps I pulled were, I want to use this one here that says sun, and then some of these circular stamps here. Where is it? I pulled out this tag from the dollar spot at Target. Oh, that's what the other side looks like, but I purchased it a few months ago, or maybe back early last year during Thanksgiving. But I was probably going to use this and then heat emboss something on the back with one of these circles here, and then just the tinier circles as well. Let's see. So those are my stamps, my embellishments, and then a couple of the badges I wanted to use, maybe this this yellow stripe, and then this one says here and there. And then I wanted to use this @ symbol for putting it towards the top of the number 2, so it says @2, kind of, and be like just a really big title. And then I wanted to use some of these stick pins, but just the ones in the shape of a little flower. And then possibly the stars in this pack, and then some of these rustic looking buttons by My Mind's Eye. Maybe a little Prima bird. And then I wanted to try and see if I can color these with my Copic markers that haven't seen the light of day in forever, but I wanted to see if I could possibly change the hearts to a different color, because that's a little bit too pink for me. Pink for my stash, that's what I should say. And then maybe a couple of these leftover chipboard stickers that I've had in my stash. And then for extra buttons, I have this Blossoms and Buttons by Making Memories. Purchased it, did I purchase this? Yes. I purchased it from Crop Chocolate way back when. So I have a whole bunch, and I liked the nice fall colors here in this pack. And then it's really neat because they have flowers that match the buttons if I end up using flowers. And then a couple little doodads. Pulled out this clip, but I'll probably just use the arrow there as a badge, and then this other badge here, and then a whole bunch of little wood veneers by Studio Calico and Freckled Fawn. Let's see, a couple of hearts. Whoops. And then a little asterisk there, a little potty person, and then a darker color one. Oh, here's the other asterisk. So pulled out those little things. If I use anything else, I'll let you guys know. But oh, I just lost it. Oh well, I'll find it eventually. No, actually, I thought I dropped something. I did. I lost a heart. Okay. Anyways, let me get started. I'll probably only do a couple of the rosettes on camera just because they're really time consuming. And once you do a couple, you kind of get the idea. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye. Hi everyone! Okay, so one of the things that I learned about this layout was that not only did I not really remember the name of what I was making, I also didn't really remember how to make it. I know that it would have been 10 times easier if I had like a scoring board. I have been eyeing the Martha Stewart. Since I don't make these often enough, I just went ahead and I have this actually in my stash. It's that little black tab. It has like a little knob on it so that you can go ahead and create paper. So it's kind of like a scoring board, just a lot more time consuming. This one that I'm making was my first one, and I actually didn't end up using it. It was kind of too big for the actual page. However, I mean, it was a trial process of, you know, how big I wanted the rosettes, and then how much time each one was going to take me. So this page probably took me a couple of days to complete, just because I made them in stages that way that it didn't seem like I was spending forever on making them. And then because I haven't scrapped in a long time, I went ahead and I squeezed the bottle thinking that the glue had dried, and then it just like glopped all over my finger. And I didn't end up using that glue because, lo and behold, because I haven't made a rosette in forever, I forgot that I had to pull out my actual glue gun in order to get it together. And so while I was waiting for it to warm up, I just went ahead and made another one. It's a smaller one, and you can kind of see that paper is torn. So it's a hit and miss with this little black little paper creaser thing. I just have to not, push down on it too hard. And it works well, enough to where I can't justify spending more money on another tool that does practically the same thing. So, and here I am just putting this one together. And I must say, this would have been an easier page had I purchased like already made rosettes. I think American Crafts makes a whole bunch of cute little pre-made rosettes, but since I had wanted a particular color and I wanted them in various sizes and a whole bunch of them, I just decided to make them on my own. Like I said, I don't end up using this one, but I do like the color. Here are the ones that I ended up going with. They're roughly anywhere between 1.5 inches and 3/4. No, wait. 1.5 inches and I want to say 3/4 of an inch big. And then I'm just sticking in, I didn't actually show these. These were some wood veneer pink circles from Studio Calico. I had them in a container and I hardly ever use it, so when I looked at it on my desk, I didn't even think twice about, showing you guys what I had pulled. I had 6 pictures, and all of them were favorites from his pictures, so I at some point figured, that was way too many photos to go around the number 2. So I pulled out my 1-inch circle punch and I punched a couple of just his faces out. So as you can see, if you look around the number, there are six 6, yeah, 6 white little 1-inch circles, and that's where the pictures are. If you're wondering where the smaller ones are, they're just, they kind of just blend in enough to where I can tell where they are. And here I am just kind of forming the number and then kind of placing my embellishments everywhere where I wanted them to be. I had a whole bunch of them kind of pulled off to the side. So let's see, what do I do next? I think I decide I have to start gluing things down before it all starts shifting, because I like it, but you know, you move the paper just a little bit and everything goes flying or everything like shifts. So I decided to just start gluing everything down. Let's see, stacking it, and I know this page has a lot of dimension, and thankfully I'm going to put it in an album that's not really full, so I'm not terribly worried about it getting messed up, I guess. And if, you know, down the road, if I actually do want to put it in like a shadow box, it would work great. It turned out really nice. Like, I was shocked at how it turned out, just because I wasn't very hopeful about it. Like I said, I have had this printed out and had the notes written down for it since January, and I had just kept putting it off because I knew that the rosettes were time consuming. And what I ended up doing was just doing the rosettes on my couch while catching up with Breaking Bad. So that's what I did Saturday night. Woohoo! So I am just adding all the little wood veneers there. One says "You are awesome," another says "Here and Now," another says "Extraordinary." Little, just little tidbits. Nothing, you know, nothing extravagant. I'm just trying to figure out where everything goes, because I wanted the number to be thick enough and not for it to be odd, because I know at some point when I placed some things around the number, it looked like it didn't belong, or not necessarily belong, but it didn't help shape the number itself. So, and then I added that little Prima bird there in the corner. I should have added another one, but I really like how different it is compared to everything else, and that's things I like about this page, is the fact that I used a lot of different items from different manufacturers and a lot of different like tidbits that have just been sitting around that I was able to get rid of. So, alright, what's the next big thing? I added some of those buttons to the centers of all the rosettes. I wanted to make sure that each rosette had, you know, if it wasn't already covered by something else, that it had something in the middle. So they were mostly buttons and a couple butterflies and the wood veneers. And then where I placed the brad there on the bottom, I realized there's that like awkward gap, and I know I'm going to take care of it here in a second. Yep, there's a little awkward gap that you can see in between the picture and the badge, and I wanted to figure out a way to get rid of it. So I stamped the sun flag from that Pebbles stamp set. I first stamped it in Cup of Joe and then realized it was a little bit too dark, and so then I ended up doing the stamp in a soft brown, and it's kind of the same color as the wood grain in the background, but it took care of that gap that was kind of bothering me. So hey, I was able to use the stamp. I didn't end up using the smaller stamps by Ali Edwards, the like little 1-inch stamps. I've been really trying to use that stamp. I like it. I just, for some reason, I'm having difficulty putting it in different places. So, and then I added some of these butterflies. I noticed that the sticker sheet has kind of blended into my stash, and then I was so glad that I actually came across it, because it goes really well with this page. Now, with using my glue gun, I did have a lot of those like wispy little strings of glue, and it kept bothering me. I knew that I was going to eventually hit it with my heat gun at the end, but it was just annoying me because it was everywhere on this page. These are some little alphas by Hey Boy Basic Gray. I used it to spell out his name around the circle there in that first photo. And I just didn't think it was going to fit, so I had to rearrange the letters just a little bit. And I didn't really care how exact they were or how perfect they were up against the circle. So, and then I played around with just using a couple of other stickers to spell out his name, and then @ underneath it for, you know, him at 2, but I ended up just going with the badge that I had originally said I was going to do. I thought that it wouldn't work just because of all the dimension on the page, but then I was like, it's gonna be fine. So I went ahead and I heat embossed a stamp from Alberts onto that tag. It says remember, and I heat embossed it with a Tim Holtz vintage photo. Wait, hold on, let me see what it's called. It's one of the distress embossing powders. Yeah, vintage photo. I can't remember the last time I've used it, so I really like the texture of it, and the color went really well with the page. So just adding a couple of extra little things. There's that brad that I used to anchor that acetate clock there. These are some clip flags. They're a wood veneer like clip flag from Basic Gray, just left over from my Project Life kit from a few months back that I never got to use. So, and here I am just getting rid of all those like little glue strings that have been bugging me. So I'm really glad that, you know, that actually takes care of it, and me fussing with it throughout the entire process was just kind of a waste. It's just my own preference. And then here I tried to color the hearts there with my Copics, and I mean it worked, but it didn't work like I had wanted it to. It wasn't as, it was too dark, and then it was also too light. So I just grabbed a couple of enamel dots and used those instead in a couple different places. And then I felt like the page was kind of, or the number was kind of just floating on the page. So I grabbed a couple of different washes to try out which one would work, and I went with that one on the very top. The other one was an Amy Tangerine washi tape, so I went with this one, and it's just a darker wood grain pattern. And I went ahead and I framed the entire page, and I feel like it definitely anchors it a little bit better, more so than without it. Then I'm looking for a label sticker just to add the date up in the corner there, and I went with this one by October Afternoon, and it's from the Farmhouse collection. And I used the label sticker, label sticker, and then I used the date stamper by Amy Tangerine. It's like a travel theme, but it just says today. I didn't think of keeping that butterfly up until the very end, and I just added it there so it didn't get lost back on the sticker sheet. So that's the page. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye!